Today is January the 28th. Let's check on the moisture in this freshly planed board here. Oh, it's screaming at me, which is bad. So you're looking at 19.2. No wonder I had so much shrinkage in those boards. Good night, that's a lot. It's settling about 18.9. So that's 18.9. We'll take it into the house and put it up, stack it, and see what it is in a few days. I'll take these in the house and stack them and see what these are in a few days. I think one reason why it's so high is it rained just a few days ago, and my shelter over these boards is really not that perfect, so that's probably got something to do with it. I'm just gonna let them acclimate, and I think that's gonna solve my problems. Here's what I think I'll do. Instead of using that last one that we checked for reference, we'll do this one right here so that we have more of a constant reference. So let's see what this is gonna look like. 15.9%, 15.7, we'll call it 15.6, 15.5, we'll call it 15.5. 15.5% on 128, and we'll check it close to this exact spot here in a few days and see what happens. Let's make it even more interesting. Let's measure it. 12 7/8. So I'll write that down on the board and we'll see what it's looking like in a few days. Well guys, it is time to start on the next phase of this project, which is going to be taking out this table, this counter, and this wall that you see behind me, and just probably going to be playing it by ear for the most part. This table that you see here was actually at one point in its life a door, and you can see the kind of lumber that it's made out of here. This is heart pine, very, very old. You're looking at 18¼ inches with one board right there, and the other board here, it's going to be about 13¾ It's not really necessary that I keep it intact as a door, but I do want to make sure we preserve this wood because this is going to go into the floor at some point during this remodel. Oh, that was really put in there well. Are you helping?
Let me go get my shoes.
You want to try mine?
Whoa.
It's hard to do, isn't it?
That won't work either. That won't work either. Huh. I'm done doing it.
Thankfully, I was able to get this table out with very, very minimal damage. I think maybe it split a little bit here on the end, but nothing really to speak of. So the reason I wanted to be so careful with this, I actually texted my mom to try to get an idea of how old this lumber was, and they tore the house down that was used for some of the lumber in this house. They tore it down in the 70s, and at that time, the house was over 100 years old, so conservatively, we're just going to say it was 100 years old, something like that. So we're going to say it was probably built in 1875, somewhere along in there. Right now it's 2023, so we're looking at, what is that, 150 years? Math on camera never works out so good, but about 150 years, something like that. And what's cool about it is it's super wide boards. This one was what, 13 something, this one was 18¼ so undoubtedly this was virgin pine trees, not replanted pine trees, not the pine trees that you get now with the super wide growth rings, but old virgin forest pine trees. Really, really cool stuff. So you see why I wanted to be super careful with this so we could reuse it somewhere else. outside we can get a closer look at these braces up under this door, which was a table. Square-headed nails in there. See the original nails. And speaking of things from the 1870s, hey, I found a dime from 1967. I should give it back to my parents. Are you kidding? I just broke my wrecking bar.
Looks like we're going to Home Depot no matter what.
I didn't know that was possible. Wow.
So, about that. I don't have to cook anymore. Now we're going to Chick-fil-A.
Wow. I didn't know you could do that. It's a crescent.
It was 1999.
This board here is a good inch thick. We might try to put this in the planer before we wrap up this video and just kind of see what it looks like. Is this the same wood, I believe, that was used to make the tabletop and all that stuff too, or the same age at least. Well, that's a pretty good progress, and the next step is this wall that you see behind me, and I think I can probably see that, this door over here in that frame right there, to get that stuff off of the wall. But I want to show y'all a dilemma that we're kind of dealing with first. This beam that goes across the top of the house right here is not for decoration. It certainly has a purpose. So when the house was first built, the story goes this entire room was wide open, nothing in the middle here to support it, and basically the ceiling started sagging pretty quickly. So they had to put this beam here, this middle beam right here, plus this supporting piece right here, and it's just a 4x4. So this piece is a 4x4, that's a 4x4 up there, and it's spanning 9 to 10 feet, somewhere along in there, about 10 feet on each side. So naturally, just a 4x4, that's a lot of weight for just a 4x4, so it's beginning to sag again, and it's been doing that for several years now. So it's sagging a little bit right there, and it's sagging a little bit right there. And our plans, and I want to know if y'all have anything better in mind for this, our plans are to replace this piece right here with a cedar tree, so it'll be very decorative and functional, and also to replace these 4x4s with 6x6 beams up here. Now the reason that I ask about this is that's really not the most ideal thing for us to do. The most ideal thing would be for us to have a completely open living room here and dining area, because where I'm standing is going to be the dining area, without this supporting beam right here, this post rather, in the middle. So my question to y'all is, does anybody know of anything that could possibly span this distance? It's about 20-ish feet, 20-ish feet, 21 feet, sorry. Is anything out there that can span this distance without any support and also come in under 8 inches? So 8 inches or less in width. I know there's plenty of things out there that can be 12 inches or more and do this job perfectly well, but once we start doing that, we're going to be hitting it with our heads, of course. So we don't want to get too much lower than what it is now. 8 inches is kind of the max. So if y'all know of any magical glue lam beam or manufactured beam that can make this span and still offer the right support at 8 inches wide, please let me know. I think it's probably a pipe dream, but I thought I'd ask. And here's a question for extra credit. Who can tell me what this is?
Okay.
We used to be able to get channels 3, 9, and 13 on this really good. 38 came in okay. 42 was sometimes okay. And I think we got 28 too, which was public television. What you doing?
What does this board say?
It says premium tackless. Be careful, it's got nails all in it. It's called a tack strip.
Why is it called a tap strip?
Because it's full of tacks.
Why is it full of tacks?
When you put carpet down, you stretch the carpet and you put it on those tack strips, and it makes the carpet stay in place. At this point, we've got to take the wall board down, or the paneling rather, that has the thermostat on it. And I've already taken the face off of the thermostat, and I called my heating and air guy to make sure that I could fiddle with that without destroying anything. So we're going to turn the power off to the furnace and see if we can get that thermostat off. I also took a picture of all of this. I don't know how well y'all can see this, but this is all color coded right here. And of course, those of you had to go back in the same place. So I already took a couple pictures. I'm gonna take more just to make double sure, because I do not know what I'm doing here. By the way, this knob right here, I believe that this used to control the furnace. There used to be a wood burning furnace that heated this house, and I think this was the fan to control that. Okay. Would you like to help with the demo?
Yes.
Okay. Here's your chance.
I do this then?
Sure. It's your choice, really.
Ow. I just broke the linoleum floor with my foot. Am I doing it right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a nail right
Close
there.
to the nail. You can also do this, and it will come out too.
I'm too short for the rest. Can I just pull it?
Yeah. Don't get cut by a nail.
Yay! I broke our house some.
Good job. All right. That's next. Get
Oh,
to it.
good. You took our pictures down. I was making sure. Get to it.
Get
Okay,
to
hang
it.
on.
Don't think that's gonna work.
I don't think this is gonna work.
It's not gonna
I'm
work
too far
either.
away. You put me too far away.
I think you need to start over here. Start on the stud right here.
But it's not even connected.
It is. The nail right there.
Oh, okay. Is it out? I can't see what I'm doing.
Keep going down. keep going down.
This is why you don't ask for help.
Maybe.
I'm sliding across the floor.
Here. Alright, you do it down or up. You can do it up too.
I should get my leg out of the way before I try to do
Yeah.
this.
Okay, it's off this stud.
Okay. Are you sure?
I can take it from here.
At least I contributed
You
some.
did. Thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put the thermostat back together, and unfortunately I turned off the wrong breaker when we went out there. There's one 100 amp breaker that goes out to the shop, and there's another 100 amp breaker that goes to the heating and air unit. So I hope that I didn't mess up anything, because I definitely took this apart with the breaker on. This is the shop right here. This is the heating and air, and I only turned that one off. Let's see if we've still got a heating and air unit. Well, the display still comes up, but I really don't know how much that means. Let's see if the heater will come on. I don't hear nothing happening. Alright, the heat does not seem to want to come on. So let's see what the cool does. So I called my heat and air guy in a panic. He told me it was fine, and sure enough, it was just on some kind of a delay when the power goes off. So it's working now. I didn't destroy it like I thought. So up here is kind of the next step. I'm running out of time today, so I'm not going to bother with that because that's going to require hanging tarps because that's got insulation behind it. So let's go do something else. Before we do something else though, let's check on the results of this wood being acclimated inside of the house that we started at the beginning of this video. We started this experiment on January the 28th, and today is February the 8th, so we're looking at 11 days here, and we started off at 15.5% moisture. Let's see what it's looking like now. Hope that y'all can see that, but you're looking at 9.1, 8.9, about 9%, so it has lost a lot. Also, when we started here, the width of this board was 12 inches and 7/8, so 12 and 7/8. And right now, it is sitting at 12, I don't know how well the camera's picking that up, 12 and 5/8. So we lost a full 1/4 of an inch on this board. I've put wood in other rooms in that house during this several year-long remodel process, and some of the rooms have been fine. Sometimes I've gotten gaps, but it's interesting to me that sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's really not okay. I guess it's got something to do with the moisture of the air outside or the moisture in the air outside when I bring them in. Maybe if it's high humidity outside, I bring it in, it shrinks. Maybe if it's low humidity outside, it's already shrunk. I don't really know. Maybe some of it was kiln dried when I had the old solar kiln going, but I don't know. I just know I'm glad I brought it in and stacked it a little bit before I put it up. Unfortunately, the wall that I had already put up made some pretty bad gaps. I ended up having to move those boards. So from now on, I'm just going to let it acclimate so I don't have to go through that hassle again. This is the plywood that we're going to use for subfloor, and I'm going to take this and put it over the existing linoleum that's already down. I don't think that stuff is going to come off of the floor, number one. It would be very time consuming, number two, and I don't know what it's made out of, and I don't really want to be spreading it around my house. So I'm just going to take this, put it directly on top of the existing linoleum, and then go up with floorboards on top of this. I don't need this yet. I'm not ready for it yet, but the price of these sheets dipped to like $9.90 each, so I figured that it's probably not going to get a whole lot cheaper, so I went ahead and snatched it while it was relatively cheap. I feel like I've been all over the place with this video. Thermostats, flat bars, sheets of plywood, Home Depot trips. I don't even know. Let's plane this wood, this board that we pulled out this morning, see what it looks like, and then we'll be done. Did you come to help? Cheeto, did you come to help? You look like sawdust. Here's our board right here, and I'm only going to do one side of this board because if you look close, and I think the camera is getting it pretty good, but there are some really nice circle sawmill marks on these boards, and I want to preserve that for the final product on the floorboards. So we won't do this side. This side will probably just get sanded. That's just a coat of polyurethane there. That's all that is. So we'll plane this side right here. It's got marks on it too. This one's a heavy mark. It looks like the sawmill got jammed up, and I'm not sure what happened exactly there, but anyway, we'll do this side. It's got to be thinned out anyway, so I'll only do one side just so that we can preserve the old look on for the final product. That's where I'll stop with this one until I've really got a good plan on what we're going to be doing with the floors. But look at this grain, and this piece is especially special because this right here, if y'all see these little dots right there, that's the dead center of the tree. So that's the sapling. That's the original sapling that grew. I mean, it had to have been centuries ago. I'm sure this was around when Columbus came over on the Mayflower. And I'm going to do something that's really not a good idea. It's not a good idea for old dry wood to put water on it because it'll split, but I'll put it on just a little bit of it so y'all can kind of get an idea here. That's kind of what it'll look like with a good coat of polyurethane on it. That grain, look at how tight the grain is, how slow that growth would be. Well guys, that is going to do it for this video. I really appreciate you watching. I know that this was kind of a rambling video with lots of things going on, but that was kind of the house update for now. The next steps are going to be taking more of that paneling off of the wall, dealing with that, getting some new boards up on the wall, and we're dealing with that big beam going across so we can have some ceiling support and get that sag out. I've got some new chickens coming, about 15 baby chicks. Should be here hopefully tomorrow. I've got plans for the pigs that I want to share for y'all as well. We have, Lord willing, we're going to have several pigs this year, not just two, most likely, well, several. I'll let you in on that in the next video. But anyway, stay tuned for that, and I appreciate you watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one.